This is the July tarot reading for Aquarius. Tarot reading for Aquarius. Hi, Aquarius. Has anyone ever done that for you before? Or am I the first person ever to do it? I hope I was the first. Welcome to your July tarot reading. Welcome to Starchaeology Tarot. I am Desi. I will be your Starchaeologist. I'm taking the lead to dig deep this month for you and find some real treasures. I'm only interested in messages that from spirit that will align you with your highest self, your highest path, that will encourage, enlighten, uplift, support, strengthen you, remind you of who you really are, all the magic and power that you forget that you have. This reading is good for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I encourage you to watch those other placements for you as well if you want a fuller picture of yourself, because our sun sign is only a puzzle piece of the whole puzzle that is each of us. So watching your other placements will give you a more full picture. That being said, there's going to be some things in here that resonate with you and some things that don't resonate with you. Things that resonate are meant for you, and the things that don't are not meant for you. They're just meant for another Aquarius who needs that. So please keep that in mind. I am going to take a moment and tune in and shuffle. If you would like to use that time to set an intention for yourself for this July reading, or ask a specific question if you're looking for answers and you hope to get from this reading, please take this shuffle time to do that. And on that note, let's do this. Aquarius, what a positive spread of cards, and really, really powerful too. So some of you, I think this looks a little bit different for all of you, but I think for some of you, so we have the Queen of Swords plus the Four of Cups to begin with. This is the situation that you're finding yourself in this month. Some of you are really disillusioned and disenchanted and honestly bored by being the boss, by being as powerful as you've been, by being in a position of responsibility. And I think a lot of you are like very strong business people, like almost like you've made your own way in your career. You've been your own boss. You've built a company from nothing. I think for others of you that takes shape a little bit differently. It's not necessarily like this badass boss person that you necessarily are, but just more so someone who's had to make their own way in life, on their own creative ideas, and had to make really hard decisions, and you've paved a path for yourself. Maybe it's not in the realm of career, but you know what I'm talking about. And you have really just exhibited such power and authority in that way. You've experienced real abundance, especially because this is Queen of Swords. This is an Empress aspect card, aspect of air, which is mind, thought, ideas, and pure creative energy. And I think that you've experienced real abundance in that way for a lot of your life. Like you've never really, or it's been a while at least, since you've felt like you can't think of a good idea, or you're not sure how to make a decision. You've known what to do. Like you've been at least in some aspect of your life. Maybe it's an area that you specifically are concerned about right now, but you've known what to do up until this point. You've always had an abundance of clear-headedness and decision-making skills and really ideas, like just ideas to act on. But there's something about that, something about being in that authority position that's brought responsibility and burden on your shoulders, or maybe something else. Maybe it's just the label of being a leader, the label of having to lead yourself, having to rule yourself in this way, and pave your own path in this way. That has been exhausting, and that has left you now in a place where the things that once filled your cup don't fill your cup anymore, and you receive more of the same thing, and it feels like, oh, this again, even though it's a beautiful thing, even though to others it might seem like an extraordinary blessing, but you've become disillusioned and disenchanted by it. And I think many of you, because you've also seen the dark side of it, you've seen the dark side of it, and that is affecting how you view your role. Whereas you once maybe even wanted to be this queen, you grew into being this queen because you were like, that's who I want to be, without realizing the shadow parts of it until you experienced it for yourself, or without realizing it's not what you thought it was, and now you're bored by getting the same thing from that over and over again. You're disillusioned by being this. I think for others of you, this isn't about you. This is about someone. This is about a Queen of Swords in your life. This is about some boss, some authority figure in your life, more in the way of feminine energy. Excuse me. So more in the realm of creative energy, creative abundance. Someone who's nurturing and maybe motherly, like a mentor, but more in a motherly way than a fatherly way, more in a way that is supportive of your supportive in a nurturing way rather than supportive in a structuring way. The difference between masculine and feminine support. So I think some of you have a figure like this in your life that has had great influence on you, perhaps more so recently. And now you're feeling this, there's a sudden change of heart where, again, this used to be filling your cup. What you received from this person, how this person filled your cup and touched your heart was so, there was so much you got out of it. And now nothing has changed. That person is still giving you that, but you're realizing it's not doing for you what it used to do for you. It's not filling your cup in the same way. And you're just disenchanted and disillusioned. It's made you question it. When we become disenchanted and disillusioned, we become bored by something. It's easy to just be like, oh, well, what's the point of anything? I don't believe in relationships with this kind of person ever anymore. As opposed to just recognizing that there's a natural ebb and flow to relationships, and that actually it's a greater reflection on you and what has changed, what needs to change in you so that you're able to recognize the magic of everything in your present moment, no matter how much of it you've had or how little of it you've had. There is something in your mindset and your heart set, because this is a Cups card, don't forget, that is keeping you or trying to fool you into believing that this pattern is just, it's there's nothing to be gained from it anymore. It can't ever be new again, when you really are the one who decides if it's new. You have authority over whether or not there's something of value in it for you. But regardless, you are over it. Look at her shirt. Over it. Can you see that? She's over it. And it doesn't matter what the external factor is. It really doesn't. It doesn't matter if it's the same thing that's being given to you, if it was always boring, if it was always never good, or you just, now you see it as not being good, what's all that is important is your reaction to this. Your reaction to this, and how you choose to see it, and what you choose to do about it. Because I think for some of you, this might just be a simple, I think there's a shift in perspective regardless that needs to happen. Because you don't want to continue being in this place where you become bitter to this job or this person or this version of yourself, like bitter to that, because you're feeling this way and you're not changing anything about it. So I think the very first thing that needs to happen is there needs to be some sort of departure from how things have been. And this is an emotional departure. This is 8 of Cups. So this is a departure change. It's almost like you've already emotionally departed from something. That's why you continue, that's why you feel bored by it now, or this person, or it, whatever this is for you. You feel bored by it, you feel disillusioned by it. You've already emotionally detached yourself from it. You've emotionally said goodbye to it, but yet you're still physically involved with it. Why? You don't want to continue being attached to it and then feeling more and more bitter about being attached to it. The physical departure needs to follow. But this doesn't have to be something, this kind of departure, this change, it's a quiet change. It's an internal change. And so I think this is what I was saying before I interrupted myself. For some of you, this is changing your situation physically, like making doing a change that that really does like actively, tangibly change your circumstances. For others of you, it might be a very small tweaking, a very small physical change, just enough to shift your perspective in a way that makes this experience or this person or relationship new for you again. And it really is an internal shift, something imperceptible to other people. Or rather, it's like a small physical thing that might... it's a small physical shift that would cause a very big internal shift. I think regardless if physical shift does happen, a physical departure does need to happen. So either it's very tiny or it's bigger. This bigger shift that could happen, it's a situation that you literally could need to just completely leave right now. You've emotionally departed and it's time to physically follow. But this is not a time, because this is a Cups card. This is about your heart, your emotions. This person is leaving in the night. This is not a big dramatic goodbye. This is not making a scene. It's really not about anyone else or even about the situation itself. It's about you. So don't make it into something that is bigger than you. You can physically leave this situation, but do it quietly. Do it in a way that you just flow away with the river. You go with the flow, and the flow leads you away. It's not something that feels like you're putting up opposition or creating an obstacle. Like it literally is like, flowing away with the river, with everything else that flows away from this thing or this person. Also, there's the thing about this card too is like recognizing all that you have built here. There is so much that you've done, good that you've done here, and that you've gotten from it. And I think that is what is needed to directly cancel out this restlessness, this boredom, this disillusion that you've been seeping in. You don't want to hold on to that. Like, let that go by feeling, really reconnecting with the gratitude for what this situation or relationship or person or version of yourself has brought to you, what you have gained from it, and recognize that the accomplishments there, like you have built this this perfect little cup castle on the sand here. And just because you've accomplished something doesn't mean you have to, just because you've been successful there doesn't mean you have to stay in that. Or just because you've been successful as that version of you doesn't mean you need to remain that person, that version of you. Good things come to an end too, so that they can allow for more good things to come to us. And you can recognize and feel when it's right for there to be an end here. You can acknowledge, oh, that's perfect. It's like when a TV show ends after, only 2 seasons, and you're like, what? There's no more seasons? And it's like, well, it was meant to be 2 seasons. It's perfect as 2 seasons. I just watched Fleabag, and that's how I'm feeling about Fleabag. But it was perfect as 2 seasons. It's not meant to go beyond that. Don't stay in this good thing because it's a good thing, or because it was a good thing for you, and then make it bad by staying in it. This being paired with this 10 of Cups, 2 Cups cards here, you are departing so that you can experience the happily ever after that you are not experiencing right now. Your eyes have to be here on the horizon, not back behind you at what you've accomplished so far. It's great to celebrate our successes and celebrate what we've done that feels good. But attachment to those things, whether in a positive or negative light, is never good. It never serves us. It always stagnates us. And it's time to look ahead at your next dream and let that lead you. Let that lead the flow of the river that you're following. It will be a dream come true to leave. It will be a dream come true to leave this situation, to depart from this, to change this. And it's like a graduation too. Like a leveling up of your EQ, of your emotional intelligence, going from 8 to 10 here. You're having the emotional intelligence to know when something isn't right for you, or to set a certain boundary, or to move on and change in a certain way, despite leaving behind good things or things that were once good. That takes real emotional intelligence, and that is evidence of your growth emotionally and what you are capable of holding in your cup. You're becoming a greater container for fulfillment and joy by being able to discern the nuances, the good and bad of so many different situations, and knowing when something sits right with your heart and when it doesn't. So there is a dream come true in this departure. There's a dream come true in this change, but you have to make the change. What this leads to, the outcome for you, is beautiful. It's insanely beautiful and insanely positive. We have the Wheel of Fortune plus the Magician. Are you kidding me? It's like saying, the Wheel of Fortune, the Wheel of Fortune says anything is possible. The Wheel of Fortune says anything is possible. But with the Magician, it says anything you dream is possible. Anything that you want to create is possible. What is fated is what you choose. You choose what is fated for you. You choose your destiny. You decide on your destiny. You take action. You take one step in the direction that you feel called to. You don't need to know the whole path. You take one step towards it. That is action. That is pure motivated action. That's very much aligned with this Magician card. And if you do that, then the chance alignments appear, the synchronicity that appears from the universe, to affirm the direction that you're headed in, to pat you on the back for taking that step, for taking that first action. By the end of this month, your intuition is heightened. When you act on this intuition, this nagging feeling inside you, this emotional, this emotion you have, like, I've already emotionally left, I have this nagging inside me, I have to physically follow this. When you act on that, that is intuition. You strengthen your intuition, ultimately. And I see you opening up almost like an antenna that just suddenly like turns on, and you being able to receive messages from beyond you that now weigh into how you rule yourself, how you are an authority in your own life, how you make decisions, how your ideas manifest. What is fated for you is stepping into how powerful you are. What is the destiny that you are fulfilling in July is realizing your own potential. This is incredibly powerful, Aquarius. But a crucial step to this is being able to proactively initiate this change that needs to happen. You take the step towards your dream come true. You take the step towards your happily ever after. You are the one, you are the magician that wields the power here. So how will you use that power? Because the magician's power to manifest anything that you think, what you direct your focus on, where you direct your focus is what is made reality. So choose very carefully where you direct your focus. Choose very, very carefully where you direct your action. Because you wield incredible power this month, Aquarius. You are wielding incredible power, and you are aligned with the universe in a way. You are aligned with source energy, with this higher power energy that is so much bigger than you, that's like at your back. So you raise the wand to make something happen, and the entire universe holds your arm up. The entire universe is behind that movement. Whatever you do with this wand, the entire universe is behind that movement, supporting it. That's how powerful you are. This wheel of fortune is at your elbow. So use that power wisely. And remember that power, Aquarius, is different than the power you have experienced thus far. This is not just another cup of the same thing. The way that you see yourself as a leader, the way you see yourself as a queen, as this boss, paving your own path, there is an effortlessness that I see coming to you now in this time that's not as it's not as hard as it's been to be this leader. Because this leader is full of life experience that has brought her to this throne. But the magician, that's just divine. That's just about connection. There's no experience needed to connect. This is a different kind of ruling. This is a different kind of authority in your life. You have not experienced this authority in your life before, maybe. As a queen, you could snap your fingers and see something be done. As a magician, you snap your fingers and see it be done, but the means by which that action is done is completely different. A queen sees it happening. She has people to do whatever she wants. The magician has no one. And yet, it still happens. So it's like you are eliminating steps in between your manifestation process, in you're eliminating steps in the process of you use to exert your power on the world, to powerfully create on this plane. It's really cool, Aquarius. And very, very positive. There's nothing, I don't have anything more to say. I would love to hear what this situation is for you, what the details are of your life right now that are resulting in this, because I'm super curious. This is seems like a magical time for you, and I'd love to hear in the comments more directly from you. If you haven't liked or subscribed yet, please do so. It would mean so much to me. I do this for you, so it really means a lot to have that feedback from you, and the affirmation that people are getting something out of this. Means a lot to me. And I wish you the most magical and powerful July, because I see that that's what is in store for you. So say yes to that, affirm that, and expect that. I love you. Thank you. Goodbye.